Hi. Welcome to Live with Ms. Steph. I'm Ms. Steph. I am the former laboratory scientist, after school director, turned STEAM education nonprofit founder and executive director. Y'all, I'm super excited to be with you here today. We've got a lot to discuss because the reality is spring is going to be awesome. We have several things. We, as in Triple F Empowerment Inc., the home of Ms. Steph Science Club, we have several things going on this spring, all the way from April through until June. We have plenty of activities for you to join in and make sure that you are a part of the Science Club community. Keep in mind that we provide services and events to mitigate the negative impact of just a strong lack, y'all, a lack of high quality, or not even high quality, but just a lack of STEAM education in the city. So there are multiple organizations that do different things. We make it fun, people. That is our thing. That is our thing. That is our thing. Not only do we make it fun, we make it fun starting at a very young age, starting as young as possible. A lot of times, sometimes folks will talk to me and ask me, like, Miss Steph, how do you do science with 2-year-olds? And I'm like, I don't have a clear understanding of what you mean by that, but I am asked that, like, how do you do stuff with, same way you do anything else with 2-year-olds? Keep safety in mind and keep it moving and make it fun and interactive and make sure that they feel welcome, because the earlier a child identifies as a scientist, the earlier they identify as a scientist, the easier the rest of their science education will be. They won't be thinking of themselves as stupid. They are going to be less likely to say that they're not good at science and that they can't do it and that they're not able to learn it. You have to start young. It's just like we start them young learning the language, learning languages. We start them young learning about basic math principles and engaging them and letting them know that they're mathematicians. You have to start young. Waiting until middle school is simply too late. And when I say too late, a middle schooler has already decided whether or not they're good at something. You know how I know? Is because one of my fifth graders yesterday communicated something to me that I was saddened by, because the child was communicating that they had a relatively negative impression of themselves, and specifically around science. And so I just want to encourage young people, specifically, y'all are brilliant. I'm talking to you now, and I mean that. Y'all are absolutely brilliant. And I want us as the adults to understand we have to start younger. We're waiting way too late to teach them science concepts. We're waiting way too long to say, oh, let's try to teach you engineering. Sixth grade robotics is not a time to try to attempt to start. When they're 2 and 3 years old, when everything is fun, that is when it's time to start. So all that being said, I have plenty of things going on with Ms. Steph Science Club to start early. And for those of you who are wondering, VEDA, yes, vlog or video every day. There's going to be a video. I'm committing to that. For anybody who knows me personally, knows that once I say I'm going to do something, it takes a lot for that thing to not happen. Last time I did videos every month, I was sick. You can go back and see the videos on Instagram, okay? I was sick and everything, and I still did this. There's a commitment that I have to things, not to my detriment anymore. But that being said, we do things. So yeah, hi, I'm Ms. Steph, and you're still watching this video. Thank you. Let's keep it moving. April. What do we have popping off in April? April 5th and April 12th. Saturday Science Club over at Wadley on 114th Street. If you don't know, y'all, I really want you to be aware that we've got Saturday Science Club happening over at Wadley. Okay. And so, yeah, Saturday Science Club. Boom. Okay. So that's what's going on April 5th and 12th. Okay. For my visual learners, I've got things going on in the chat. Okay. Then for the April 19th. Now, all of these things are the things. Yes, I'm teaching Monday through Friday, doing like the things I y'all see. I just came from teaching kids at the Montessori school. But for public facing events to where you can hop in and engage and you don't have to like RSVP and stuff, these are the events that I'm talking about right now. And then I'll talk to you about summer camp as well. And then, of course, all the things. But anyways, yes. So April 5th, 12th, Saturday Science Club. Then on April 19th, hopping around Harlem, I'm super excited to be working with the Harlem Rise Collective. They have an event that they've invited me to. Y'all know I'm working more and more community, fellow community engagement organizations. Like, send me a message. I kid you not, it's very simple, very straightforward. If you're a community development organization, we have a way that we do things and operate, and we will come do a science fun table. Hands down. 1, 2, 3. Okay. And so that's happening April 19th. That's over at St. Nicholas. That's over at St. Nicholas Park. The 135th Street entrance. Like, if you know, like, you walk up, you're on 135th Street and you just keep going. If you're going east and you're going towards that entrance, that's by the BC train entrance on the downtown side. That's where we're going to be at. Okay. And so that's where we're going from 12 to 4. We're doing a science fun table. Now, going into May, or rather, let me backtrack. April 26th. Right now, we do not have anything scheduled. And so most likely that's going to be our rest day, because y'all know how I feel about rest days. Rest days are super important. It's another mindset shift that I have been working on personally and encouraging other people to do in this whole nonprofit space. There's a lady on Instagram. Oh, I wish I could remember her name. Because I want to respect the work that she does by shouting her out. But there's a lady on Instagram that her and Corporate Aaron do things together. And she talks, basically it's obvious satire, and it's hilarious to those of us who are in the nonprofit space. And she really nails the idea. And she's always talking, Nicole. And so she nails the idea of basically the overworked nonprofit staffer and what that does and how harsh that is. And so she does that through her content, which is super fantastic. Shout out to her. And so one of the things that I've been sharing over the last several months is just the importance of doing rest. And so, yes, we go hard. Anybody who sees me on a Wednesday and Friday knows I am going, and I literally go to no less than 3 locations on your average Wednesday and Friday here in Harlem, and I'm moving and shaking and carrying things on my back and all that type of stuff. That being said, when there's an opportunity to have a slow day, I do take that, because it's important for me, not only for my own physical and mental and emotional and social wellness to do so. My students need to see it. They need to see slow moments, soft moments. When we're talking to kids and we're in spaces with them and we're fussing at them because they're not quiet and because they don't know how to relax, what are we doing to model calm for them, to model relax for them? So that being said, April 26th, most likely this is going to be rest day, okay? Because we got plenty other things going on. Before I leave April, I do want to point out there's a very important week happening in April, April 14th through 18th. For those of you who have your child in New York City public school system, there is no school that week, right? Period. There's not much else to say to that. So let's go ahead and move to May. Okay, May. Let's make sure I get my dates correct. All right. So going into May, we are going to do 2. Okay. You notice that we've got 2 Saturday Science. Normally we have 3, but because of the break and the holiday and all those types of things, we are only going to be doing first and second Saturday, okay, in April. And then again in May, we'll do first and second Saturday again. And then we've got a special culmination to Saturday Science Club happening. So on May 3rd and May 10th, we will have, there we go. We will have Saturday Science Club. Okay. We've got Saturday Science Club happening. And then on May 17th, we're going to have Science in the Park. So we're basically going to have just a fun time, meet up, do some playtime over at Morningside Park. That's in Morningside Park. So for those of you who know Harlem, you know we are all over, right? So in April, of course, we're at our regular traveling science teacher sites. And then for Saturday Science Club, we're at Wadley. Saturday Science Club is always happening in Wadley. So if you're wondering about that, that's what's going on there. Wadley on 114th Street from 12 to 2 p.m. Children must be ages 5 to 10 to be dropped off. Now, if you want to hang out with your younger than 5-year-old, absolutely, you are most welcome. Okay, to hang out. If you need to bring a snack, all those things, all those questions are actually answered in another live from a couple of weeks back. Okay, because the parents sent me questions, and I took those questions to help me do a live a couple of weeks ago. So look at that Saturday Science Club Q&A or FAQs. And those are there. So I'm not going to go into that because we are focused on the schedule. You see how much stuff we've got going on? Another reason why I rest. Rest when I need to rest. And I keep saying it more and more. I verbalize it because it is something that I've actually struggled with in the past. And so when we call things out, it's easier to fix them. Okay, so that being said, let's go ahead and move on to May 31st. Shout out to Harriet Tubman. Okay, Harriet Tubman Learning Center, Ms. Jared, Mr. Perez, all of them over there. Hello, shout out to y'all. Super excited about working with them yet again this school year during the school day. That's actually one of our traveling science teacher locations, but of course, annually at their wellness fair. Okay, we always do a fun table. Okay, and so that's what we're going to be doing. We'll be doing a science fun table, y'all. Again, if you have an interest and you're like, I'm a community organization and we want to have an event and like it would be so great to have you there. Guess what? Send me an email. That's what people do. Send me an email. Empowerment.org. Miss Steph at tfempowerment.org. Triple F Empowerment Inc. Okay, is the name of the organization. And so that's why it's that tfempowerment.org. Okay. Science Club, Ms. Steph Science Club is the program that we run. Okay. Under the Triple F Empowerment Inc. nonprofit umbrella. Okay. Full on running nonprofit. We've been running for now well over a decade. We're almost a decade and a half old. As far as that. Now, as far as how long I've been doing the things and working with young people here in Harlem, I'm pushing this 20 years. Okay. And fun fact, this summer, if I've done the calculations properly, this summer will be my 20th consecutive summer running summer camp. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So May 31st, Harriet Tubman Learning Center. Now let's hop into June. Y'all, there may be a few other things on the June calendar by the time we get to June, but June, for those of you who know, you know. For those of you who don't know, I'm about to tell you right now, because anybody who knows me knows that I've said no a bunch of times, and on purpose. Now I'm kind of just being silly. But knows that I'm very pro. I want you to be informed. Okay. I love, 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 love for folks to be informed and to be in the know and to feel welcome and to feel like you can participate and to feel like this community is for you and is providing the things that you need. Okay. And so June 13th and June 14th, that weekend is the New York the NYC KIDSFEST weekend. And we, similar to last year, will be at 2 of the days. I'm speaking up because I want you to hear me. Also because there's the New York soundtrack happening outside. So June 13th and 14th, y'all, come on down. So again, as I've said before, we are out and about in Harlem. You see all these different locations we're at. So Saturday Science Club, which is on 114th Street between Adam Clayton Powell Jr. Boulevard and Frederick Douglass Boulevard, also known as 7th Avenue and 8th Avenues. Okay, so that's one location we're at. Then we're also going to be at St. Nicholas Park, April 19th. Then going to May 3rd and May 10th. Again, back Saturday Science Club. We're going to be at Wadley again. Then May 17th, we'll be at Morningside Park, the playground that's closest to 116th Street, because my volunteers and we actually had a discussion. I sat them down and I was like, hey, this is what we've got going on. And so we made that decision as a group. And so all of us are super excited to have a nice play time with your young people that day. So the kids will get to play in the playground. I'll bring one or two kind of science activities, and that will be basically our year-end celebration that will culminate Saturday Science Club. Y'all. Okay. And then we're headed over to Harriet Tubman Learning Center to culminate the things that I've been doing over there, but also for their annual wellness fair. This event is a massive event. There's a lot of collaboration that happens. She's not their school nurse anymore. She's doing things at the district level, but their school nurse, their former school nurse, does a bunch of things, collaborates with folks all year long to make this awesome event. The save the date has been published. It's up on my Instagram. We will be there. Okay. And then we hop around to two parks, not one, but two parks and two parts of Harlem to do in June. Like I said, June 13th and June 14th. That weekend, we will be at two of the NYC KIDSFEST locations. KIDSFEST, right? And so that actually, we have Marcus Garvey Park, okay? Which for those of you who do not know is our park between 5th and Madison Avenue on 5th and Madison Avenue between 124th and 121st, I want to say. So we'll be doing some things there. And that event is sponsored by NYC KIDSFEST. They do lots of things, super fun. And of course, we'll be doing our science fun table. We will be giving things just out. All right. And then the following day on the 14th, we will be further west. Okay. Exact locations and all that type of stuff will be published closer to. But yeah, people. Do you see all this? This is just for the next 3 months. And then, of course, on July 7th 2025 at 8:30 in the morning. We are launching SSC 2025, Summer Science Club 2025. We're going to be doing lots of things. We will have a field trip included in the fee. We will have a field trip once a week. It is a $700 per week per child value that you are getting. Children experience. I have done the calculations. And I say this, I want y'all to really hear this. Children experience a year and a half's worth. Because remember, I've done several videos and I will still continue to talk about this, especially if you have questions about this. I'm very open to really discussing it on a deeper level. And maybe that can be one of the questions for VEDA. Maybe we can really focus on some of the issues and some of the challenges and some of the reasons why we do what we do over here at Ms. Steph Science Club. But in particular, the amount of time and the depth of activity that we do with children over the summer is quite intense. And so when I tell you that it is worth a year and a half's worth of elementary school science, I'm serious. And so let's really break these numbers down, right? And so we do, okay? So if you factor in the fact that we go on a field trip, we learn offsite weekly, okay? Field trips are a minimum, all right, of 4 hours that they're out and learning, okay? And just a lot of stuff, okay? So field trips out learning for a minimum of 4 hours. Children are getting basically the equivalent if they have it, okay? If they really want to be super clear about this, if they even have it, they're getting the equivalent of one science period, which is anywhere between 35 minutes, depending on what's going on in the classroom. Telling you the things I can tell you, but I don't want to derail the point. 35 minutes to 45-minute time block once a week. And that's in schools that are bringing in a vendor like me, or in schools once a week, right? And so when you're talking about we go and we learn outside for 4 hours, a field trip, okay? Then the other days of the week, the other 4 days of the week, we have 2 science blocks. So one is more of a direct instruction block, and then one is something more similar to what we do at Saturday Science Club, which is centers, where the kids get to play with all things STEAM for no less than 2 hours. Okay, so we've got your instructional block, which ends up being basically a 90-minute block by the time everything kind of, everything it gets worked out, and then a 2-hour play block. Right? You hear that math? So it ends up being no less than a year and a half's worth. So if your child comes to all 5 weeks, science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics, yes, because there's a theme, because hello, was raised in the military. Very organized. It can be quite fluid and artsy, as you can tell, but still decency and order, okay? And so we go through, we have a theme each week. We have a field trip that's already determined well before that you get a whole list of that if you send your child well before program starts, camp starts. I already have actually all the trips chosen, okay? And I know which week we're going to that trip. Actually, in fact, you can see that when you register your child, you see which field trip we're going on that, what week. There's a day I've strategically chosen the days that we go on field trips. We are a Thursday field trip group. I've strategically composed programs such that over the years, like I've combined it with some of the things that I've learned at other locations, because remember, I'm constantly learning, because any good teacher is learning all the time. We when we am I wrong? Come on, in the comments. Anybody in the comments? Good teacher. We are learning all the time, and we take information from our different classes, our experiences, information from interacting with the parents of our awesome, brilliant, wonderful students. You heard what I said? Awesome, brilliant, wonderful students. Okay. And apply that information. So, yeah, like I said, a year and a half's worth of science education for your average elementary school experience is what a child is getting when they come to our 5-week summer science club STEAM immersion experience. And I can say that with confidence, that they're learned, that they do get that much like out of it. Yeah. And so it's great. I'm super excited to get to come on daily. Y'all know I'm working on this whole like let's do this daily thing, and see kind of what happens. For those of you wondering how you can support us, you can go on our website and you'll learn. There's actually, I don't want to make it that complicated. You go on our website and click the donate button. The donate button is bright red. Okay. Our website is www.tfempowerment.org. For those of you interested in registering your child to have the STEAM immersion experience of a lifetime, because even my kids who have come years past, I have students who typically, once they start with us, they stay with us until they age out of program, which is around age 10 or 12, depending on when they started. Because earlier on in our tenure, we were going up to 7th grade for campers. Now I go up to 5th graders, okay? Rising 5th graders, ages 5 to 10. So yeah, so I mean, we really have a great time. The mindset is that science is fun, and it, like, I'm moving with the mindset and with the concept that not only is science fun, but it is accessible. It is a right, period, for children to have this quality education. And that's why a lot of the things that, like, if you can't get to me, that's why we have the free content. Okay. And there are a plethora of videos, and I will continue to make videos that let you be able to explore different things. If you're a fellow educator, a fellow STEAM educator, there's certain videos that you might prefer. Or if you're a parent and you're like, okay, well, I can't send my kid to camp because I don't even live in the state. Or then the YouTube and the Instagram and even the Facebook, there's some old Facebook stuff that's lives that are there from back when COVID first hit the scene. And so there's a lot of things that are available to you, because again, I'm very pro access. Okay. But if you're saying, hey, my kid needs to be in the room with her, come on. We still have some space. Not a lot, because I like to make the experience very close. And so for that reason, or that's one of the reasons, your kid spends the day with me and my staff. And their friends, their buddies that they made the year before. And so we take but so many children. All right. And if you have more questions about that, or if you want me to do similar to the Saturday Science Club FAQ, I can do a summer camp FAQ. And then, of course, over the next several weeks, I will continue. Today was really focused on the calendar, right? I rocked y'all through all the things that we've got going on. And so then we'll take each piece over the next several weeks, and of course, make sure that you're get more and more content around the science test prep, right? Because most of our children are going to be taking that mid-May, especially to really make it very granular and very local. The majority of the District 5 kids, District 5, District 3, most of them will take it May 15th or somewhere around there. So again, just know that I'll be continuing that content. So we're at 30 minutes. I think that's enough for now. It's been absolutely wonderful hanging out with you. I appreciate you. For those of you who have watched the video all the way to this point, yes, hello. Oh, okay. You are informed. And not only are you informed, you can help another parent or educator or a school leader be as informed as you. So make sure that you're sharing this content and reaching out to me at msstph@tfempowerment.org. For those of you wanting to make sure that you are part of the folks who are fueling all of these activities, all of the stuff that we're doing out in the community, because all the stuff that I mentioned on every single Saturday thing that I've mentioned to you, that is provided to the community for free. There's no charge for that. Okay. So if you're wanting to say, hey, I want to make sure that I'm part of fueling that and making sure that it's high, continues to be high quality, you are most invited to go to www.tfempowerment.org and make a contribution. Click the red donate button. Yes, the red is a thing. I can also talk to you more about why the shirts are red. So anywho, thank you ever so much for watching Live with Ms. Steph. Have an absolutely wonderful day.